Hey friends, welcome back. We're done from a long day of breaking concrete and pulling out old cast iron pipes out of houses and stuff from 1957. And I want to take 2 minutes at the end of the day and show you a little tip to you homeowners out there that are dealing with a spigot or some sort of a shutoff valve that drips when you turn it on. All right, I know a lot of people out there have these problematic little spigots or hose bibs on the side of the house. And it seems like every time you're trying to turn the thing on, it's leaking out from the handle and stuff, and you just don't know what to do. You think you need to take and replace it and do all that other stuff. Or it may be like a ball valve or something like that, or leaking out of the handle from washing machine valves, whatever. Let me show you a real quick tip on how you can at least prolong having to replace that thing. Now, whether it be new or something from years past and stuff, most of these valves have a common denominator when it comes to helping water from leaking from the handle. Now, we're not talking about a drippy faucet. We'll get into that another time. But the common denominator with all these different valves is they have what's called a packing nut. See that? These are little things called packing nuts. These are adjustable if you take your time and you're careful. And it's recommended to turn the water off to the house. Let me show you how. All right, let's take this old seal cock. This thing came out of like a 1970s or 60s house and stuff, and it's just dripping and dripping and dripping. It's really loose to handle and stuff. Well, if you're careful, you get yourself a little wrench. You can put it right there on that packing nut. See that? And even though this is old, watch, it's turning. Look at that, tighten that handle up nice. And that usually, unless it's completely wore out in there, is going to stop that handle from dripping. Same with like an old washer valve. Came out of an old 70s house. If you're careful and take your time, most of the time you can get onto that packing nut. Get that out of the way. And this thing's all rotted out. Just get it on there enough and make a little bit of a turn. Just enough where you can get that thing to stop dripping from the handle. The same thing goes with the newer hose bibs. These are the kind of hose bibs I put in on an everyday basis. I just take and just put a wrench on there nicely, get another little wrench, and take and just tighten that little packing nut just a little bit. Now, usually is going to take care of the problem from that faucet dripping, okay, or leaking out from that nut or something. It's also going to make that handle a little bit tighter. That way you don't have to crank the thing down and make it worse. Let's move on to a ball valve. This also is a hose bib, but it's a quarter turn ball valve. This little ball turn inside of there. These handles can come off there as well. Just like this. Don't lose any parts. Right underneath there is another nut. See that? You can take a wrench. You can turn that little nut. Just be careful not to mess up the threads on there. That'll also help prevent water leaking out of the handle. Same thing with a regular brass ball valve, like a shut off. You take that handle off there, just like that, nice and easy. And there you go. There is the nut. And the reason why I tell you about these is because they are packed with a rubber seal inside there, and they will leak. This whole apparatus here will come off, I believe. I've never tried to, but you can loosen the thing up greatly and get that thing to turn. See what I'm doing? That whole piece comes out of there. If you're nice and careful, you can back that thing out of there and you can replace the seal inside there if it goes bad. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you happen to be on the business end of installing one of these valves, get into the habit of tightening and snugging down those packing nuts after the install. If not, you might get a call back from a customer saying that it's leaking. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the video. Listen, there's just quick tips I wanted to share with you guys when it comes to leaky handles on these spigots and stuff, that if you, a homeowner, can take care of yourself. Just always use caution. And if you don't feel comfortable, stop what you're doing and call a licensed plumber. Got any questions, leave them down below. And don't forget to keep plumbing.